Every single week, Chris Wilson and Grinding Gear Games were detailing Path of Exile's creation and sharing it with everyone. But they didn't stop there. Chris and the others on the
So why are you not doing this right now, dude? With Path of Exile 2? Hey! Show me this right now with Path of Exile 2, GGG. What are you doing, bro? Hey guys, I have this video here that was recommended to me that is called The Shaping of the Path of Exile Community, a History. So this caught my attention because you guys know that I started playing with Path of Exile 2. I knew about Path of Exile 1, but I was not really involved in the community. And apparently this video is about telling the story of Path of Exile, right? The history of Path of Exile. So maybe I will get filled in a bunch of context revolving around the game, right? So that is why I want to watch it. So let's see what we can learn in here, dude.
Let's take a slight sidetrack here and talk about the idea of the company's relationship with the players. I've often believed that goodwill is a currency. If a company do something that the player base perceive as good and positive, the player base will trust them. And that trust gets built up and built up and built up, and the company can, if they choose to, cash that trust in for very, very large amounts of profit very quickly at the expense of that trust from the future. How do you build up that player trust? What is it that you do as a company that you think the players do trust? And I'm not saying that you're going to do anything that would cash that trust out, but what do you then see companies doing that you think is an unacceptable cash out of that trust?
I see what you mean. Yeah, it's very interesting. The terms like brand deposit and brand withdrawal, we heard at a talk at a conference back in like 2008 or 9, and that was a very, poignant thing that stuck with us from there, where, the idea is treat people well and later you can treat them badly. Sounds like a really cynical way to run businesses, but we've always had a philosophy of doing best by the players because we're up against large companies that have far more resources than us, and the defining characteristic of those large companies often is they inexplicably do stuff that isn't in the best interest of players. And some of those are our major competitors. And so we can differentiate ourselves by...
Hey, who are you thinking about? Eh? Don't think about Blizzard and Diablo 4. Don't think about that shit, bro. By the way, some people, now that I got into Path of Exile and all of that, Chris Wilson is nowhere to be found. Some people say that he retired. Some people say that he's still dead, but doesn't do much. I don't know. Since I've been here, I've been watching Jonathan do the speeches and the interviews and whatever, and I like him. I think he's cool, and I really don't have a point of comparison. Maybe some people will say, no, Chris was better, or no, Jonathan is better. This is not a competition. What I want is for all of them to be great and for the game to be awesome, dude.
by actually taking a step back and working out what the right choice in a given situation is. It also helps that we are gamers, like we go home and play games and are the consumers of these products. It just so happens that we get to make them during our day job, and so we know how we would want to be treated.
Nice, that is how we
and
way
so
to see it.
We try very hard to be transparent with the community. We do interviews like this, we talk to different content creators from various different places, make sure to explain why we do things. We post, there's a news post on pathofexile.com every single weekday for like the last 8 or 9 years or something like that, because we want to have some content there every day for players. If we make a mistake, the players tell us, we apologize, we explain what's going on, we change it if necessary. So we try very hard to do what's in the best interest of the players. Not really to ever try to cash it out later, but it does sometimes come in handy, because sometimes a business has to make a decision which looks bad to the players, even though it's not going to hurt them. And that's where trust is important. So for example, a number of years ago we were acquired by Tencent, and the players were very worried about this, because often being acquired by a large multinational company doesn't end well for the game. And people...
Hey, I am not thinking about Blizzard, Activision, Microsoft, and World of Warcraft. I am not thinking about that at all, bro.
Have seen other examples of games that changed substantially when they were acquired. We would only have entered into that deal if we had full confidence that it was going to be okay for the players. And so when we did announce it, we said, trust us, it'll be fine. And I believe it has been fine after that point. And because we had some brand deposits already made, we relied on a bit of a loan against that for the trust of them not freaking out too much about that acquisition. And hopefully everyone who observed that will see in the end that it actually was a pretty harmless thing. But if we had a history of treating the players badly, then they certainly would have had much more reason to be cynical.
I don't know if the video is going to make the point that the acquisition by Tencent has been a bad thing. Maybe they come up with some good arguments, but I think that everything has been going fine, at least since I've been playing. Like, yes, I wish PoE2 would be getting more content faster, but it is not a big deal, dude. Like maybe PoE 1 players are worried because the league was delayed, but you are getting the new event that is looking cool. So I think that so far things are looking fine, but it is going to get defined in the future, depending on how they deal with juggling the both games, you know. Will they eventually manage to juggle the two games, or will they be trapped on this limbo where they have to go hard on one, stop, go hard in the other, and they are always pushing back on whatever, they are never on time, everything is delayed? That would be a problem, right? But if they manage to get in the flow, I think everything will be fine. I think they have not shown us like signs of wanting to destroy the games or doing some bullshit in terms of monetization or whatever. I think they have been good so far in those situations.
About motivations for that acquisition.
That was a very honest answer. Thank you.
Greetings, Exiles, I'm Gav. In my documentary covering the origins of grinding gear games, I talked briefly about how the community surrounding Path of Exile is a large part of GGG's continued success year over year. The support for the game and loyalty that its fans have towards GGG and Path of Exile is something rarely seen in present-day gaming. That kind of loyalty isn't something you can just materialize out of thin air. It was specifically curated and fostered by GGG for over a decade. In this video, I wanted to document the history and growth of this community from the early days of the game's life through to today. We'll cover Chris Wilson's direct involvement, and it wouldn't be a legitimate look at the community without talking about the bringer of good vibes and memes, Bex. Her involvement was pivotal in continuing to bridge the gap between the player and the developer, and we owe her a lot still to this day. We'll end off the video with a discussion and comparison of the communications and community vibe then versus now. Let's dive in.
Okay, this is looking good. Let's see it.
Solid content patches and content delivery are one thing, but grinding gear games went above and beyond those things in their attempt to earn the community's trust and loyalty over the years. As early back as August of 2010, after the team finally announced their game project that they had been working hard on since 2006, Chris Wilson was on the forums, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, plugging their game and engaging with interested players. The forums and their YouTube channel is a treasure trove of history detailing the game's development. Later that year in October, Chris began a series on the forums called The Screenshot of the Week, which he maintained every single week on the forums for years. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any of the old screenshots to show up in these posts, even using the Wayback Machine, but these were direct insights into their development. They detailed before and after images, updates to effects, new skills, graphics, and otherwise. Every month during development, Chris posted a development diary entry on the Path of Exile forums. The very first one in October of 2010 laid out their plan, and they stuck to it. Diary entries covered a variety of topics, such as the tales of their early closed alpha testers not wanting to put the game down. Another one of their earlier dev diaries was why they hate being called an MMORPG. The list goes on every single month. These were glimpses behind closed doors into the development and small studio as a whole. A few months later, in February of 2011, Chris Wilson began showcasing their systems of the game, and some of the things that himself and the team were working on. The very first demonstration was him explaining the deep and unique skill gem system.
That is the, like, for me, when I saw the skill tree for the first time, that is the thing that made me want to play the game. Like, the hook in Path of Exile 2 is the same thing, or in Path of Exile 1 also, is the same thing that scares people. The game's complexity. For the people that are looking for a complex game, then you see, I have to try this shit. But there are people that say, oh, this is too complicated, I am not going to learn this bullshit. So it is a double-edged sword. But another thing that I want to notice here, of course, they are showing in here alpha stuff or even pre-alpha stuff, is that look how undercooked the game was. For the people that say that PoE 2 is undercooked or whatever, this is a process, this is a flow, we have to let things develop, dude. Of course, things start undercooked and they evolve through there, right? So PoE 1 was undercooked and then it evolved. Let PoE 2 evolve. In fact, I have said this to you several times. In the state PoE 2 is right now, that it is like 20 to 30% completed. so it is far away from completion. It is still better than fully released games. It still offers hours and hours of content. I have like 500 hours in this shit. Like, how many fully released games can say that, dude?
Hello, I'm Chris Wilson, the lead producer at Grinding Gear Games. We are developing the upcoming online action RPG Path of Exile. Today, I'm going to walk you through the skill system that we have designed and demonstrate some of the many combinations of skills that are possible. In previous generations of action RPGs, players would choose skills when they level up and invest in higher levels of these skills as they progress through the game. In Path of Exile, skills are itemized as gems that players can find while playing. Players get their staple common skills from NPCs for completing certain quests, but can find significantly more interesting skills in the wilderness or trade for them with other players.
Nice, nice.
Skill gems are placed in socketed items and grant the indicated active skill while that item is equipped.
How it works in PoE2 is better in my opinion. The only thing the PoE2 system is needing is a way to de-level gems. That is what the PoE2 system needs. That you can de-level gems. After you can do that, everything is fine. And the possibility of accessing this screen without having to click on a gem, where you can see every skill. This, being able to see this without clicking on the gem is good. And the possibility of de-leveling gems, that is all you need in this system, and it is infinitely better than the one in PoE1.
The color of a socket controls which gems may be placed in that socket. For example,
and that is bullshit. Thank God they got rid of the color of the thing, dude. That is annoying.
example, the red socket in this sword indicates that a strength skill gem can be socketed here.
That same month, Chris began the Clip of the Week series on their YouTube channel. This was a series of videos generally under a minute long, and they showcased development progress, skills, art, environments, and so on. These were shared weekly with the already fast-growing community. Every single week, Chris Wilson and Grinding Gear Games were detailing Path of Exile's creation and sharing it with everyone. But they didn't stop there. Chris and the others on the
So why are you not doing this right now, dude? With Path of Exile 2? Hey! Show me this right now with Path of Exile 2, GGG. What are you doing, bro? Huh? Why did you do it for PoE1 and you can't do it for PoE2? Show me what you are doing right now. I want to see what you are doing.
team were deeply involved in conversations on the forums and Reddit as well. They ran events and races where players could compete and test their mettle against others to see who could achieve a particular goal the fastest. GGG also always finds the time to directly engage with the community via interviews with streamers, content creators, and others interested in their game. On April 4th, 2012, Chris announced their new monetization method for their free-to-play game, supporter packs. This provided a way for the community to give back if they felt so inclined, to help further development. The first wave of packs came with a beta key to play the game prior to its release.
This is something that PoE does very well, brother. The monetization in PoE is very, very fair. There are some people that want to argue that PoE is pay to win because you need tabs. First of all, you don't fucking need tabs. Second of all, having tabs is not pay to win. You could you can make the argument, you can make the argument it is pay for convenience, but it is not pay to win. The game, like, this is, if not the game that I have played, with the fairest monetization, it is up there. Like one of the fairest monetizations that I have ever seen in any game, dude. That receives this amount of content and this amount of updates and quality of life and all of that. Like, this game is insane, dude. The monetization is really good, really good.
And also store points equal to the value of your purchase, as well as cosmetics and other exclusive rewards. In the follow-up post on April 10th, Chris announced that they had already raised over $200,000 in just under a week from over 13,000 fans, including 13 absolute mad lads that bought the $1,000 Diamond Tier supporter pack. That was just the beginning, however. This supporter pack campaign has proven successful for Grinding Gear Games every league from the beta through to today, and I would argue it's still one of the best value and least egregious monetization methods that I've seen in gaming. Every supporter pack purchase is...
One day my channel is going to pop off and I will be able to support the company with those supporter packs. And you will say, support the multi-billionaire company. They are making this game that I can play for free and that I am doing like I don't know, 20 videos a week talking about the game, dude. I believe they are providing me. They are supporting me. So why not give a little bit back, you know, when I can? Did PoE 1 ever get graphics update? I believe yes, several times. It still sucks, look. Let's be honest. The graphics in PoE 1 still suck, but I believe they have received updates several times. But that is one of the reasons they had to make PoE 2, because there comes a point where all the rigging and all of that is bullshit, and it doesn't matter how many updates you do, it will never look as good as this. So they just decided to make the new game because they could redo everything from scratch to be able to have a better graphic quality. I remember not playing it because of the graphics. Yes, the graphics sucked dick. The first time I played it, I didn't care in the sense that I installed it, but after I was playing, I was like, this looks bad, dude. Like, what? And I stopped.
Is a direct showing of the goodwill, loyalty, and respect that they've earned from their community. This overwhelming support spurred Chris's momentum even further. Announcements, development diaries, and screenshots of the week continued. And on June 16th of 2012, the community was introduced to a new series on the Path of Exile YouTube channel, called the Build of the Week.
In this video series, we're going to showcase interesting character builds that our players have come up with. Today's build is this Templar called Seymour, from a player called Big Z, and we've copied the character across to our local testing server so that we're able to show it without disturbing his account online. Now his character here is level 48 and he's in Merciless difficulty, so I'm going to demonstrate it playing in the terraces, which is the first area.
Hey, Yee, where is this shit right now? I want to see this right now. What are you doing, dude? Why did you stop doing this shit? Huh? I don't agree with you stopping this series. I need this series back. Come on. Yeah, my friends played it, I think near 2.0 or whatever, and I remember trying the game and I couldn't really understand what the fuck I was looking at. They locked the game though. Yes, because the thing with Path of Exile is that people love it because of the systems, right? But brother, at some point, whatever you are looking at in the screen has to look good, right? And that was one of the problems with Path of Exile 1. Even with, you could say, no, but it is an old game. But even with games of, at the same time, PoE 1 look bad compared to other games at the same stage, you know. So, yeah. I've been waiting for this all day. Let's go. Yo, Nogi, how you doing, brother? Oh, that is so cool that you were expecting the stream. That makes me, I don't know, it makes me feel fine, you know. It makes me feel good. Yeah, the cities, I miss them.
Another notch on me helmet.
After the Act 1 town in that difficulty. So basically this Templar is interesting because it uses totems combined with a certain skill, Ice Spear in this case. So here we have a totem support gem, and basically this allows you to cast a totem which will use any skills that are attached to it, in this case Ice Spear. So for example, if I run up here...
So that totem is like the ancestral totem that we have right now for the warrior, that you can attach slams to the totem and the totem casts the slams. Okay, I didn't know that existed in PoE 1.
...to some monsters and cast the totem. You'll see that it fires Ice Spears at the monsters to kill them. He also has two other support gems attached to the skill, added cold damage to increase the damage that it deals, and increased duration so that the totem lasts longer. Now as you can see, that totem was able to kill a couple of the monsters, but they're still there. Now this character of course can cast a couple more totems. The problem here of course is the totems will die relatively quickly if the monsters get a chance to fight them. To combat this, he uses Freezing Pulse, which allows him to protect the totems if monsters get close to them.
This series continued throughout the remainder of the closed beta and beyond. Open beta began in late January of 2013. Through their closed beta period, they had crowdfunded over $2.5 million. And during the first week of their open beta, Path of Exile was hitting peaks of nearly 60,000 players online concurrently. Grinding Gear Games began...
The game grew relatively fast, like, right?
And hiring more customer service employees and other roles to meet the growing demand for their game. In March 2013, they hired a customer service associate that would eventually take the momentum that Chris and the team had built up with the community and dial it to 11. Her name was Bex.
I was already creating content, but I believe I was in Diablo 4 or even doing Marvel Snap. I don't remember when Vex announced that they were leaving the team or GGG. I don't remember if I was watching Queen or whatever, and that is where I saw that, oh, they are leaving the team, and people were like sad that this was happening, you know. The Sun encampment in Act 3 looked really nice. Yes, the Sun encampment looks nice. That is basically like one of the biggest cities, right? Like, or the biggest city outside from Oriath in PoE 1.
Bex began her career with Grinding Gear Games and customer support. She focused a lot on the moderation of the forums and direct communication with players during her first few years with the company. It was something Bex really enjoyed, and she was unknowingly proving her ability to step into the community management position as her rapport with the community grew. It wouldn't be until early 2015 that Bex would begin trialing as the community manager under Chris Wilson's direct guidance. He introduced her to editing videos, doing voiceovers, and helped hone her understanding of the Path of Exile community as a whole. As the team at Grinding Gear Games grew further to around 30 members at the time, and the game's popularity was on a continued upward trajectory, Chris found himself needing to focus more and more on development and leading his team. On January 8th of 2015, Bex posted her first official Path of Exile forum announcement. It was a post beginning her very own forum series called the Community Showcase. The thread was a collection of recent content and work by the community that she and Grinding Gear Games really enjoyed and wanted to share with everyone else.
Hey, where is that right now? I want that right now. And if you don't have the person to do it, hey, I am right here. Hire me. I will do it. I will do this for sure, brother. You think they might be saving that city scenery for Act 4 in PoE 2? We already know what is happening in Act 4. They are going to the isles that are from the Karuis. It is like the Ngakanui Isles or something like that. And the main city is called King's Marsh, which is like the city that you have right now in PoE 1 for the settlers of Kalgur. That is the main city in Act 4. Now, I don't know about Act 5 and Act 6. Some people have been speculating that you will go to Oriath in Act 5, but I don't know. That is not confirmed. But the King's Marsh for Act 4 is confirmed, 100%.
Things such as fan art, content from Twitch and YouTube creators, and so much more. Bex continued the community showcase and began posting the notes for every single patch. She posted 5 days a week, every week, for the next 8 years. Through Bex, the community was constantly
5 days a week, every week for 5 years. I can do that. Hey, I live in Colombia. I am poor. Hire me. I will do this shit for you, dude. And you need it, dude. You need it. Players want this. We want this, brother. We are in the dark right now. People don't know what the fuck is happening with PoE. Hey, do the right thing here, dude. Do the right thing here.
In touch with the small indie company. On top of all of that, Bex regularly posted news and announcements while continuing some of the series that Chris had started, including the community's favorite, the Build of the Week series. By the end of 2015, the team had grown to 60 staff members, and they were sitting comfortably in their new office with room for over 100 developers. Bex was seemingly always around, always posting and keeping the community up to date and involved on the forums, Reddit, and Twitter. She was always having a good time and doing her best to ensure that others were as well. Bex brought that human element.
That is when people do their best job, dude. When they are having a good time with their job, that is when you know that they will provide like excellent stuff, you know, because they are doing it with a passion, with love. So everything is cool after that.
Forward that's often lacking in a game development studio, particularly as they grow. The humor inserted into the patch notes and the memes that she posted were absolutely top-notch. But it wasn't always memes and silliness. Bex was there to answer the community's burning questions. And if she didn't have the answer, she was our literal landline into Grinding Gear Games and would find out. The most common question she was asked had to be, patch notes when? During the hype week for every single upcoming league. It quickly became a running joke among Path of Exile players. But perhaps the most notorious meme within the community is fishing. I'll be covering the entire history of fishing.
Bex! PoE 2 0.2 when, dude? When? I need to know when the druid is coming, brother.
Or in Path of Exile in a separate video. But from the fishing memes and nautical theming those memes brought, the Path of Exile community was constantly on the lookout for a boat league of some kind. Bex leaned into this heavily, throwing in hidden clues and sometimes blatant ones regarding the next league potentially being boat themed. Yet another inside joke that her and the community shared. In October of 2017, the community was blessed with the Bex bloopers reel from that season's Build of the Week series.
Hi guys, I'm Bex from Grinding Gear Games. In Build of
Hi.
the Week, we showcase interesting builds created by the Path of Exile community. The skeleton mages can cover far more area than the melee. Melee?
Melee. I say melee, fuck that.
And turn narrow spots such as doorways into choke points of elemental doorways into choke points.
Bro, this is cool, dude. I can see why people like her. This is cool. Hey! Bro! I died in 0 comma, dude! What the fuck? This game is so fucking stupid, dude.
Mistress of Sacrifice turns your flesh offering into an early spood.
She has a cute laugh, dude.
Of course, you also need to be able to hit enemies, and if you also want to crit, the Resolute technique. Getting the right socket colors for these gems might be tricky without a little luck from some. This virtually guarantees that you benefit from Chinsol's close range This virtually guarantees that you benefit from Chinsol's close range
Like, normally you cut that out and you don't leave it in the video, but since it is funny, she left it there, which is cool, dude. Addicted to this bullshit, brother. I am fucking addicted. I have to tell you, I play this shit every single, like, I have a 10-minute break on my job. I play this shit. Like, I am playing this shit all the time, dude. And I am getting a little worried because I want to try the new event for PoE1, right? I also want to play the new season for WoW, but I don't know if I will be able to play the new season for WoW because between the new event for PoE1, I believe Last Epoch is going to release a new season in April. And probably around the Last Epoch bullshit, I am hoping we are going to get content for PoE2. So right back to PoE2. So this game has me completely, I don't know, brother, absorbed. Like, it has me within its grasp, dude.
This witch build focuses heavily on life and totem benefits. Does it? The skeleton mages can cover far more.
So yeah, you are missing right now. I am seeing like weekly updates on the development of the game. This is basically the most important thing. You are not doing that. But I can do that. Unless you say to me what I should say. But you are missing the build of the week. I can do that for you. I can research and do the build of the week for you. And the daily community posts. I can also do that for you, dude. Of course I can do that for you. You are needing this. Where is all this content? Like, your amount of content is going down. You have more content in the game, but less interaction with the community. I can fix that, brother. I can fix that.
More area than their melee counterparts and turn. Oh man.
How late I'm good.
Spirit Eater will help your melatonin scages. The unique sword The unique sword
Brother,
Seriously.
the dude that made the video put
These
a
are
lot
all
of this in there, dude.
These are the gym. If you'd like to submit a build for next week's episode, just post about fuck this sentence.
There were many other blooper reels over the years.
So many YouTubers already do that, all that stuff. Yes, exactly. That is precisely the point. Hire me to do it officially for you, for the official PoE2 channel. Don't hire some other people that are going to overcharge you. I am poor. I will do it for basically nothing, dude. That is exactly the point.
For this series, but this one was by far the best in my opinion. As the years flew by, February 10th, 2019 marked Bex's 6th year with Grinding Gear Games, and her 4th year as their community manager. In a forum post marking this occasion, she answered questions in a written interview. Her work was part community management, but also part project manager. In an effort to keep the community fully updated and in the loop, Bex was constantly communicating with developers and keeping tabs on their deadlines. She would receive direct community feedback and relay that information to the devs. I'll have a link to this interview in the description for those of you interested in reading it through fully. The years that followed contained many ups and downs for both the game's development direction as well as the community sentiment. Over 20 leagues and 6 expansions were released from 2017 to 2023, and the majority were absolute bangers. However, many of the players weren't happy with the Blight, Arch Nemesis, Lake of Calandra, and Crucible leagues, to name some of.
All those things mean nothing to me. I know that for PoE1 players, all those things mean something because those are the leagues and they played it and they know why it was good and why it was bad. To me, it means nothing.
The worst offenders. There were many other leagues that weren't favored, but many of those, such as Synthesis, received amazing changes by the developers that completely turned the league around. The announcement of Path of Exile 2 at ExileCon in 2019 and 2023 also started to sow doubt among the community, particularly those that were still enjoying Path of Exile 1 and didn't want major changes, or for their beloved game to be neglected by GGG for a sequel. As the outward face for the community team, Bex tanked a lot of the vitriol during these leagues, on Reddit, the forums, really anywhere that you could find angry gamers. But she never had a problem talking openly and honestly with those individuals and the community as a whole, even during the worst leagues and launches. Truly a one-of-a-kind community manager. On August 3rd, 2023, Bex announced the end of her chapter with Grinding Gear Games. She had nothing but kind words and fond memories looking back on her rockstar career at GGG. The studio was her home, her happy place for so many years, and the community had become like a family to her. A little over a year later on Twitter, on January 15th, 2025, Bex announced her role as the community manager for a new games company called Bonfire Studios. The team at Bonfire is developing a new game called Arcuron. It's still in very early stages of development and shrouded in mystery, but we do know that it'll be a team-based PvP game combining elements from multiple different genres. I'm excited to try it out and see Bex work her magic once again with a new game and community. On January 30th of 2025, Bex cleared up any speculation regarding her departure being caused by any drama or negativity that she received from the Path of Exile community, stating that it was certainly hard at times, but her favorite thing was talking to the players. The community and communication that we've received just haven't been the same since Bex left in 2023. Let's take a look at some highlights from the last year of communication and the community sentiment towards Path of Exile, GGG, and the now early access sequel, Path of Exile 2.
Hey, Path of Exile 2 is awesome, dude. Everybody knows this.
ExileCon in 2023 was another smash hit among the community, and where we found out their new direction for Path of Exile 2.
When we announced Path of Exile 2 at ExileCon 2019, we told you guys that we were releasing it as an expansion to PoE 1 and that both campaigns would be playable on the same game client with a shared endgame.
By the way, some people are mad about this decision that they decided to separate the games. I am happy. Thank God they decided to separate the games. Hoorah! That PoE 2 was combined with PoE 1. Yes, like all the 6 classes were going to be, the 6 new classes were going to be introduced in PoE 1. and the campaign was going to be also in PoE 1, and then when you are out of the campaign, the two games merge in the single big end game that PoE 1 has, right? That is why people say that it was, some people say that it was better that they were combined because you would have the PoE 1 end game. And I say, no, I prefer the game to be its own thing. Maybe it is some OCD bullshit, but it is also because you have your own engine. The game looks better. The game plays different. You got rid of a lot of the bullshit systems, like the gem system, like we said earlier. And I like that you have the opportunity to remove bloat. You may say that the PoE 1, you have a lot of things to do because the end game is so complete or whatever, but it is also bloated. There is also a lot of fucking shit, dude. Like, I like the opportunity to start from scratch, evolve, learn all this shit. You are not bloated. You cut the fat. Everything is going fine. I like the decision to separate the games. And but it still has remnants of that. For example, why don't the new game only have 6 classes, but it have 12 classes? Because originally the game was going to have the 12 classes because the 6 old plus the 6 new. And they are bringing back the 6 old to the new game, which is fucking awesome. Imagine if before La Cipo and PoE 2 had a baby. Like, before I used to say that in regards to D4 graphics, like, you give me the D4 graphics and atmosphere and lore, the IP for Diablo 4. You give me the last epoch skill system where each skill has its own passive skill tree. And you give me the PoE 2 skill tree, this one, the big one, and the ascendancy system. And that is the best fucking game ever, right? But now D4 doesn't even have the best graphics. PoE 2 has the best graphics. So what are you going to take from D4? The IP, the lore, like Diablo, okay. It is the best IP out of the 3, okay. That is the only thing that you can take from there. People are probably upset now about the games being separate because if they weren't, they'd still have one dev team working on one game and no delays on leaks. That is one good point. Like, I focus too much on the end, on the whole one end game point, but what you are saying is also true. Like, the PoE 1 people are mad that they took up the developers from PoE 1 and put them on PoE 2. If the games were together, you don't have to remove people and take them from one place to the other because everybody's working on the same game. That is one good point, dude. The Blizzard part will ruin it 100%. Yeah, like, what are you taking from Diablo? The lore, the IP, because the game, which the cool thing that it had was the atmosphere and the graphics. PoE 2 came out and it's competing with that too, you know. The games play very different from each other. I can see them being together. Exactly. That is why I am glad that they are separated. Yes, I am glad PoE 2 is its own thing that plays in a unique way that no other ARPG plays like.
But PoE 2's scope has continued to grow and grow, and it's far more than just an expansion with a new campaign. It has entirely new monsters, skills, mechanics, classes, everything you'd expect from the next generation of action RPGs. Not to mention revamps of most of the PoE 1 League content. This thing is just freaking huge.
Nice.
There was a point where we realized that our plan to replace PoE 1 with PoE 2 would essentially be getting rid of a game that people love for no real reason. So we made a decision. Path of Exile 1 and 2 will be separate with their own mechanics, balance, endgames, and leagues.
Nice.
But it's still a shared
love
platform.
that.
Your microtransactions are available across both games. Everything you have ever purchased or will ever purchase in the future will be used.
That is another way that GGG has showed that they have goodwill with the player. And it didn't matter that Tencent acquired them, so because people say, no, Tencent acquired them, so now they will be greedy. If they were greedy because of Tencent, this wouldn't happen. What other game makes it that when they release a sequel, all that you bought on the first game applies to the sequel? That doesn't happen, dude. You buy a new FIFA, buy all the shit again. You buy a new Call of Duty, well, I believe so, I don't know. Buy all the shit again and blah, 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 right? So this was awesome, brother. This was awesome.
Usable in both games unless it's hyper-specific to the content of one of them. You can't transform into a bear in PoE 1.
Like, for example, when I tried PoE 1 previously, I didn't have Mac tabs, so I only had my 4 normal tabs, right? But now that I bought the early access for PoE 2 and I have the 300 coins, I get the tabs right here in PoE 2. Some days ago, I logged into PoE 1 and I have my tabs that I bought for PoE 2. So it also works backwards and it's awesome, dude. It is fucking awesome.
So a reskin of your bear form isn't going to work, but you absolutely can equip the awesome armor set that you got and use all your stash tabs. So with that in mind, we'd love to show you a live demo of some of the stuff we've been working on. PoE 2 has come a long way. Mark here is going to man the PC. Hopefully he doesn't die. It is a live gameplay demo after all.
The scope of the sequel was much larger than originally intended, and they wanted it to be an entirely different game than PoE 1. Jonathan was now the game director and lead developer for Path of Exile 2. Mark Roberts was leading the Path of Exile 1 team and assisting Jonathan with the boss design and bringing his expertise to Path of Exile 2 as well. They both participated in many interviews following ExileCon 2023, answering questions.
I think that generally they have been doing a good job in terms of the design of the game. In terms of when they do interviews, they are great. But the last month is where I am like, I want to know what is happening with the development, dude. I want to know when I will get the Druid and the Hunters. I am addicted to this shit, brother. Give me something. I am doing a fucking challenge where I go through the game in doing punches because I can't do any more shit. Give me something, dude. Give me something. I am going to cry in here, motherfucker. Ooh, and Stellar Amulet. This is like 150 Exalted, dude. If you get a normal, guys, I don't know if you know this, but if you get a normal Stellar Amulet, sell that shit for Exalteds because this bullshit is like 180 Exalteds. I don't know, some bullshit like that. So yes, that is a lucky drop. That is a lucky drop for sure.
And sharing.
One of their best decisions was to allow microtransactions to work for both games for sure. Exactly, I agree completely. Games like FIFA, you're just paying for graphic updates every year, plus gambling buying packs. Exactly, you buy all the shit again. The way they transform from PoE 1 to PoE 2 is just masterful. Versatile game creation off of one idea. I agree with that too.
Development progress whenever possible. Path of Exile saw the Ancestor, Affliction, and Acropolis leagues over the next year. These leagues had mixed results. The form announcements, patch notes, and everything Bex was heading up was now spread out amongst the entire community team. There was no face any longer, however, just a faceless collective dubbed the community team. The human element now lied with...
Exactly, I was going to say that. Yes, we still sometimes receive, like, of course there are community managers over there. You have the Twitter stuff, you have the forum stuff, they post sometimes, you have the YouTube, sometimes they post. But the human element of knowing who is the person that is saying this goes a long way, dude. People like it. People like putting a face to what people are saying. In fact, I will go one step further. By the way, I am not advocating for people to dox themselves. But sometimes when you are in the internet like myself and you are streaming and you see people chatting here or even the YouTube comments, you read the comment, you read the stuff, but you don't have a face behind that. So it feels weird not knowing who you are talking to, right? So that is my point. Players feel weird not knowing who is giving their news. That is why when it is actually Jonathan talking or Mark talking, it is very much better received because you are putting a face to the comment. What I am trying to say is you need a new X. You can write to me in my Discord, you can write to me in my Twitter, you can write to me wherever, dude. Put a face to this shit, this ridiculous face, dude. Yeah, also how they managed to have the graphics look so good on the same engine. Could they just apply that to PoE 1? Again, I don't think they can because of the rigging or whatever. And I don't even know if this is the same engine. Just sold one for 200x. Nice. That is nice. Everything is rising in price, and I still don't understand how the hell Perfect Jeweler's Orb is still more expensive than a Divine, hermano. But Greater is way cheaper. Yes, I got a Greater, and I thought, oh, I will sell this for a bunch, and it was like 9 Exalted. It is bullshit. But you guys saw that I dropped a Perfect some days ago, and I sold that for a lot. I don't remember how much, but it sold for a lot.
Jonathan and Mark. July 26, 2024 marked the release of Path of Exile 1's biggest league yet, Patch 3.25, Settlers of Calgur. The community
Okay,
had
the one that
finally
we have right
received
now.
their boat league. That launch day, the concurrent player count on Steam peaked at nearly 230,000 players, shattering their previous record. And that's not including Path of Exile's standalone client, that's just Steam. The community was bigger than ever, and the game's popularity
That is the current record. My prediction is that I think this new event that we are going to get like in 3 days is going to, if it doesn't break it, that record is going to come really close. Why do I think this? Because with the advent of PoE 2 and with the influx of new players to the franchise, a lot of these new players that are bored right now in PoE 2 because there is no new content and you have a drought, the same as myself, are going to try PoE 1 for the first time ever. So the rise in the player base can be magnificent. That is my prediction, that it will break the record or at least come close. And if I am totally wrong with this, that I can be, of course, when PoE 2 actually releases for free and people get to experience the full game, then the next PoE 1 league after that will for sure break every PoE 1 record ever.
was on a continued trend upward yet again. Path of Exile 2 was nearing its early access date slated for November 15th, 2024. Things were looking very good indeed for the franchise. Unfortunately, however, the early access for PoE 2 needed to be pushed back, and we received the news directly from Jonathan himself. On October 28th, 2024, he delivered this news to the community.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2. Unfortunately, I have some really bad news. We have to delay early access for 3 weeks. The new date is the 6th of December. I'm really sorry about this one. People plan time off and things like that around our launches, but we just have to do it. So what happened? Well, it turns out it isn't really...
I'll be honest, that delay wasn't that bad because it was just 3 weeks, right? If it is a year, then you get upset. But it is just 3 weeks, brother. Not a big of a deal, dude.
The game itself that we're behind on. It's a bunch of server-side infrastructure work that has taken us a lot longer than we expected. Now, one of the key promises we made is that all your microtransactions will work across both PoE 1 and 2. In order to do that, we have to integrate the account systems for not only PoE 1 and 2, but also for the console realms as well. This meant changing a lot of things. Not only do we have to create a bunch of new systems, we have to make sure that all the old data is backwards compatible with them as well. And when you start migrating databases that are this old and with this much data, you find all sorts of strange demons in there. How do multiple accounts get the same name? How do multiple accounts get the same email address? How do multiple accounts have the same Steam IDs? Why is this person's account name just random gibberish that doesn't even decode?
Brother, I put it at 200 and they are spamming me, dude. So maybe it can sell for higher than that. But I will sell it at 200. I put it at 200. I will sell it at 200. Developers don't even apologize for delaying for years. Which is bullshit, dude. I don't care about the apologies. I want the game to be released. But years is bullshit. I want... 3 weeks is acceptable, you know. 3 weeks is acceptable.
We have to get everything perfect so that nobody loses anything they paid for and nobody has their account broken. At the same time, because we're changing all this backend code, we have to do a lot of load testing to make sure the whole thing doesn't fall over when they get the huge number of players that we're expecting at launch. I actually believe that we could possibly have made the original launch date, but I'm no longer confident we could do it without making mistakes. And these are the kind of mistakes that we just can't let happen. So with that in mind, we've decided to delay. Now this one's totally on me. I just didn't leave enough time to make sure we could get it done. And I'm really sorry. This one really hurts. Now we're going to be having a live stream talking about all the content you can expect in PoE 2's early access in about 4 weeks. You can think of it like the biggest league announcement we've ever done. I'm really looking forward to telling you guys about the in-game content that the team have been working hard on. Until then, thank you very much for your support.
This technical limitation wasn't a direct problem with the game itself and was extremely sad but understandable. Along with this delay came even more bad news. The delay to Path of Exile 1's 3.26 League. The community team stated that their intent was to announce the 3.26 League in late January of 2025. To aid the community with the extended wait time, they implemented a hybrid league. It was a cross between the Necropolis League and Settlers of Calgur. The delay for Path of Exile 1 was due to resources and senior developers from the PoE 1 team being moved to the Path of Exile 2 dev team in order to aid in hitting their new deadline of December 6th. Grinding Gear Games is a team of just over 100 in the present day, still a very small studio in the grand scheme of things. Regardless of team size, however, GGG is known for churning out quality content within a tight dev cycle. This wasn't like them at all, but they had earned our trust and we let them cook. Necro Settlers League launched and maintained some interest from PoE 1 players for the time being.
I still maintain, I did a video and some people were mad at me and they dislike my shit, but I also maintain it because I think it is true. Yes, they are releasing this event for PoE 1 because PoE 1 players were mad because they weren't getting a league. True. But they are also taking it as an opportunity to distract us from the fact that they don't have the patch for PoE 2 ready. So, hey, nobody's talking about the PoE 2 patch because we are focused on the PoE 1 event, right? So it is a strategy also, dude. It is also a strategy.
Finally, on December 6th of 2024, Path of Exile 2 was released in its early access state to the world. The game had a few launch woes, including server stability, disconnect issues, high latency, and others. Those were soon resolved within a 24 to 48 hour window, and on December 8th, Path of Exile 2 peaked at over 578,000 players online concurrently on Steam. And again, that's not even including the separate standalone client that we have no numbers for. They secured their place in the top 20 most played Steam games of all time.
Nice.
All during a closed beta that required paid entry. Absolutely insane. The major patches for Path of Exile 2 have been fewer in number than a lot of us expected, but GGG deserved their holiday break, and I'm glad that the work-life culture in New Zealand abides by them. Despite the lack of patches and content for early access, the player numbers for PoE 2 are still well above 100,000 daily. PoE 1 was hovering around 10,000 players during this time, desperate for content. Both GGG and the community team were radio silent regarding Path of Exile 1 for over a...
Some people want to say that PoE 2 has not had good retention because it is at only 100k right now. Brother, that is insane retention for an ARPG. What the fuck are you talking about? It is still in the top 10 most played games on Steam, and it is an early access title with only 20 to 30% completion. And yes, yeah, and it is an ARPG. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it is right now in a content drought. So insane retention, insane retention. That trailer gave me chills. Remember when my friend sent it to me? I was so excited. I never even had played Path of Exile. Yes, brother. That is also another thing. Every Path of Exile 2 trailer has been cool. Every Path of Exile 2 trailer I have ever seen, they have like 3 or 4. All of them are cool. But that one where Count Geonor stabs the hooded one and gets the beast in the little sphere, that one is insane.
Month after this. On January 29th, 2025, we were stricken with even more bad news.
Hey guys, let's talk about PoE 1.
Oh, that was the one.
When we announced PoE 2, we promised that we would continue to create PoE 1 expansions, and we do intend to keep that promise, but it's certainly been a lot harder to deliver on it than what we expected. Now the trouble really started after Settlers of Calgar in July last year. The ideal time to have released 326 would have been late October, before the originally scheduled release of PoE 2's early access. But we just didn't think we could do it. It was too close to the huge circus that was the organisation around PoE 2's launch. But we also didn't want to immediately launch it right after PoE 2 either, so that kind of ruled out December. So then we're thinking, okay, we can't really have a launch in January due to Christmas, so we're really going to have to do it in February. And this wasn't great. It would mean 7 months with no leagues. But we really didn't think it was possible to do it any earlier than that. And we didn't really announce this exactly, but it was certainly...
Bro, did just put the whole announcement in here. Brother, we know what he said. Why did you put the whole announcement, bro?
Certainly something that we had said to quite a few people over time, so the community became generally aware that that was our plan. The issue is this. PoE 2's endgame needed a lot of work. Having the guys on the PoE
2, not only endgame, PoE 2, the game itself needs a lot of work, dude. The game is 20 to 30%. Hey, give me content. I am starving over here, dude. Like, yes, I will entertain myself with the PoE 1 event. But my game is a 2, brother. I want content in the second one.
one team help out for 3 months on PoE 2, given that 326 was 7 months away. It seemed like a no-brainer, and man did PoE 2 need it. The problem is we got to the middle of October, and PoE 2's launch was imminent, and I'll tell you what, taking people off PoE 2 at that point was just impossible. The endgame was not in a shippable state. But you know what? We could still do it. If the PoE 1 team just kept helping until PoE 2 shipped in late November, we could still do it. Maybe the scope would need to decrease a little bit, but mid-February...
And here I come again with my theory that the PoE 1 event is pushed because they don't have it ready the PoE 2. After this, they realize the same thing. Oh, we can have ready the PoE 2 patch. And then somewhere along the lines, they realize, oh, we are not going to get ready the PoE 2 patch. Give them something in PoE 1 so they chill. We get the PoE 1 people to calm down, and at the same time, the PoE 2 people have to wait and they won't focus as much on that we are not releasing new stuff. Brother, nobody, unless I see proof that this is not the case, nobody is going to convince me otherwise. Like, the backlash was good for them because they were able to release this event and everybody's happy. You know, like, the backlash ended up being good for them.
February was still possible. We just needed to ship this damn game first, get it out of the way. We literally couldn't think about anything else until it was done, but we still had time. The problem is, we were fooling ourselves. PoE 2 was delayed 3 weeks, making the problem even worse. And then after the game was released, well, of course we had to immediately deal with all the problems. How could we think about making a PoE 1 expansion when we still have hundreds of thousands of people who are having bad experiences in PoE 2? There are crashes, there are severe in-game balance problems. How could I justify taking some of the most experienced developers we have off PoE 2 when it's on fire? Now, after the Christmas break, we had to really admit something to ourselves. The most urgent priority was getting PoE 2 to a point where it didn't have major issues. And it's hard to even think about what PoE 1 needs when PoE 2 has really obvious problems that need fixing. We needed to get it to the point of stability and balance, and to fix the most severe deficiencies that PoE 2 has before we can take our eyes off it. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we can't really work on PoE 1 3.26 until PoE 2 0.2.0 has shipped. And then, being honest, we probably need to support that for a couple of weeks after that as well.
Couple of weeks.
Now, in the meantime, we are going to get a bunch of pre-production done on 3.26 with whatever people who are not needed to fix issues with PoE 2. And once 0.2.0 is sorted, I promise we will devote as many resources as are needed from our company to get 3.26 done as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I just can't promise a date right now. Now, I'm really sorry for how this went down. Honestly, I should have predicted the fact that taking the PoE 1 team...
Bro, I have to say something about this video. The video is good, right? He has said a lot of cool stuff. But in editing, my dude, this is constructive feedback. Why did you put the whole fucking... The whole announcement, dude? The whole announcement, like, not even a little bit clipped. Bro! I have a friend who works and only gets to play games for 2 hours a day, but plays every day. Think of how many people are just like that. Yes, exactly. True, but I love that Headhunter belt.
Off PoE 1 would lead to this outcome, and I probably should have resisted doing it. But at every stage, I just kept thinking, we still have time, and then we didn't have time anymore. Now, we still have a lot to learn about how to run 2 games simultaneously. We were overconfident. We still need to work out how to structure our studio to make this possible. But we do have a solid plan for what we want to do with 3.26. Obviously, I can't talk about it yet, but I'm hoping you guys are going to love it. I really want to thank you guys for all your support over the years. You guys do deserve better than this, and we will get 3.26 out as fast as we can.
Setting aside the outrage that this announcement caused, this is still the game director coming out and stating exactly what went wrong and taking the blame entirely for his mismanagement of resources.
Yep.
That's commendable, and something that would have been a forum post or continued silence from other studios. But we can't ignore the shortcomings here. Jonathan has become the face of the company, essentially, as Chris Wilson continues to focus more directly on the business side of the company as its CEO. Shortly after this sad announcement, Pox, who is now being dubbed as the savior of Path of Exile 1, decided to boot up a private league during the downtime and start fresh in Settlers of Calgary. To his surprise, over 20,000 members of the community crowdfunded and signed up for this league within 48 hours. 20,000 is the private league limit, and more folks still wanted in.
I messaged support, and support said that they will, on Monday, they will talk to the people in the office ASAP and raise awareness on the current private league, on specifically on raising the cap. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen, just means that they're aware.
Pox's league single-handedly proved the desire for PoE 1 still from the community.
Yep.
Due to this and the outcry from PoE 1 players on the forums, Reddit, Twitter, and elsewhere, GGG reallocated some resources back over to Path of Exile 1. They also provided the POX League with another 10,000 spots, exceeding the typical maximum allowed on Private League, and they did it free of charge. On February 2nd, 2025, the Legacy of Freesia event was announced. A 1-month event league with 19 completely new ascendancies to toy with, and even more wacky stuff from their brainstorm
It
board
looks
that
cool,
never
let's
made
be
it
honest.
into the game.
It looks really cool.
Before the goddess of justice,
Now he puts up the full clip in here. My dude. Come on, bro.
embrace our gifts and rise ascendant. For there's nothing quite so enticing as ascendancy.
But yes, brother, I wanted to play the behemoth or however the fuck you pronounce that shit. But apparently it is going to suck. You guys know that is like my jam, right? Like that archetype. But apparently the behemoth is going to suck dick. So no, brother, like it is a broken spec because of some aura bullshit or whatever. So it is fucking me in the ass, dude. I will have to pick something else. I hope this build gets nerfed soon. Brother, this build is going to get obliterated when we get to the new patch in PoE 2. That is a fact. This is stupid. This shouldn't exist. Let's be honest. I am playing it because it shouldn't exist. Because this is stupid. Look how everything dies, and I don't even come close to the mobs. Like, this is stupid. This shouldn't exist. So I guarantee this is going to get nuked from orbit when 0.2 comes out, for sure.
That's one down.
Brother, just put the whole fucking trailer in there. My dude, you have, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, don't cover it if you really wanna put the trailer. Combine stuff, save us some time, dude.
When the night falls.
I don't know. I am not like the biggest editor either. My video edition sucks dick. But bro,
While
help me
still a
out.
band-aid solution for the original game, this league has somewhat rejuvenated the community for PoE 1.
Yep, it
and
has,
this appears to be the first
100%.
of many events that they have planned until 3.26 is ready to launch. In
Yep,
the
yep,
meantime,
yep.
the players of Path of Exile 2 are still awaiting news on patch 020, which I'm personally
Exactly.
hoping will bring the Druid and Huntress classes at the very least. New weapons, new skills, a massive balance and meta shift, and of course a fresh economy and league to test.
And that is what I wanna hear. Give me a roadmap. Give me some bullshit. When the fuck is the O2 coming out? You don't have a date. Give me a timeline. It should be like in roughly 1 month from now. Give me something like that. What is coming? Give me roughly what is coming. Guarantee me that the Druid is coming out. Stuff like that, brother. Give me something to eat. I am starving over here, dude.
Everything in.
Oh, that's one down.
The past year has been pretty rough for GGG, despite shattering records with 3.25 and finally unveiling Path of Exile 2, which set its own records. The communication is lacking on all fronts compared to what we once had. The forum posts
this
are
is true.
infrequent and updates are mostly made on Twitter, which for obvious reasons not everyone uses. Communication from GGG on Reddit is extremely rare to borderline non-existent nowadays. They just aren't around as much anymore seemingly. It doesn't feel like we have a direct line into the company like we once did with Vex, and the community doesn't seem as tight-knit as before either.
I
It
agree
actually
with this.
feels
I
kind
agree
of
with this.
fractured between PoE 1 and PoE 2. I'm extremely appreciative of Jonathan's honesty and the passion that he has for Path of Exile 2. And I hope GGG continues to work on Path of Exile 1 and do right by the players that have stuck by them through thick and thin for over a decade. But early on in Path of Exile's life, Chris Wilson
Please join
quickly
me in
realized that he
inviting
couldn't
President Barack Obama to unveil the portrait.
There you go.
be the community manager and game director at the same time. which is what it seems like Jonathan is kind of trying to do, or has been thrust into. Chris was still around quite a lot, even after Bex was appointed as the community manager. And Jonathan is too, which is fantastic. But in Bex's absence, would a new face for the community management team be the solution here? Or would the community just tear them down when times are tough like this? How do you think grinding your game should continue from here on? They have so much goodwill and loyalty built up from fans new and old, and I'd really hate to see that deteriorate. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you hope to see going forward, and if this new normal is enough.
What I hope to see going forward is hire me. I will solve all these issues. I will be your new Bex. If you are not going to do that you probably won't. I understand. No, I don't understand. It is a mistake, but okay. At least, brother, give us something. Give us something. Start doing more stuff, because how he said towards the end of the video, things are completely different than before. You have gone silent like other companies do, and they don't announce shit. I want to know what is happening in here. You are releasing the event, which is cool, but basically you are doing it to remain silent. We don't know what is happening really with PoE 1 or PoE 2. What? Let me know something, brother. Give me something. I am starving over here, dude. But the video was awesome to let me know some stuff that I didn't know. For example, from Chris, Wilson, and Bex, and how involved all of them were with the community. But at the same time, my dude, it is a good video, but you have to cut it out with putting the full fragment in there. You put me the whole announcement for Jonathan, and you put the whole trailer. Like, my dude, come on, bro. But outside from that, awesome video, brother. Thank you very much, my dude. What do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a clown? Am I a genius? Let me know everything in the comments below. I love reading comments even when they don't agree with me. Also remember to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are fucking awesome. God bless ya. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.